Welcome back. And now let's go to some specifics. What is happening with the East-West Road that has been under construction for so long? Let's start with that.
Well, the East-West Road, to many people, as of today, the East-West Road is not on the inventory of the Federal Ministry of Works. It used to be owned by the Federal Ministry of Works, but when the Ministry of Niger Data Affairs was created during the regime of our late President Onolememen, in his wisdom, the road was transferred to the Ministry of Niger Data Affairs. But as a member of the Federal Executive Council and as a champion of the road sector, I would want to say that the East-West Road is going on well, it's going on schedule, and all things being equal, the road will be brought to a final completion this year.
And when will the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway be delivered?
Well, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is on course. When we flagged up the road project a little over a year ago, we did say that it would take 48 months to complete the project. But however, with the financial architecture that have been put in place for the funding of the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, we are going to be having a service of about 8 to 12 months, depending on which session we are looking at. So in other words, the road will be completed long before the 48 months completion period.
That sounds good. But for years now, religious institutions like NASFAT and the Redeemed Church continue to cause major traffic jam on that road, on that particular, which is a major road in Nigeria, whenever they have special religious sessions. Is there no political will to do anything about this?
The ongoing reconstruction of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is actually taking care of that. Okay. At some point, Nigerians will begin to see the construction of flyovers, separating traffic going to the Redeemed camp and its environment. Once we come to that phase of construction and it is fully completed, Nigerians will see that we would be able to solve that problem once and for all.
Almost all of the state governments complain about not getting refunds of money spent. Lagos State, for example, says it has spent about 50 billion naira on the maintenance of Lagos, of federal roads. Despite acknowledgement by federal government, it's not been refunded. Like other states, what is the problem here? Is it that they do it without consulting the ministry first, or, you know?
Let me be very clear. The procedure to intervene on federal roads have been laid down. They were properly laid down by the Federal Executive Council under the chairmanship of the late President Umaru Yar'Adua. If you are a state government and you want to intervene on federal road, there are rules. You must inform the federal government by writing to the president, who in turn will refer to the Minister of Work, who will ensure that what you want to do, first of all, is truly a federal road, and they will be able to sit down with you and ensure that the scope of work is agreed upon. And once you agree on the scope of work, the procurement process will be transparent in line with the Public Procurement Act, which governs procurement of infrastructure like road at the federal level. And once you fulfill those conditionality and it's awarded to the preferred bidder in line with extant public procurement rules, of course it's awarded. And once that is awarded, even in the supervision of the project, the Federal Ministry of Works will collaborate with the State Ministry of Works engineers in supervising that project. Once you fulfill these conditionalities, there should be no problem in getting your refund. And if you want to truly do a federal road, follow the procedure. Let us agree on what we want to do on that particular road. Once we agree, the federal government agencies agree, and the president writes the governor to say, approval has been given for you to proceed on your intervention on the federal road. Of course, you're entitled to your refund. And we have been refunding money on federal road. From the records I have at the Federal Ministry of Works here, it is clear that the federal government have been in the business of refunding money to state government that, intervene on federal road appropriately and in line with extant rules.
Now let's talk about politics in your home state of Edo. Is it at all possible to work across party lines with the comrade governor for development?
Of course, we do that repeatedly. On most of our federal roads, we work on urban alignment. I will give you two examples. On the Benin or Federal Highway, the one that starts from the heart of the city, from the junction of Akpakpava Street and Downsea Road. The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of War, undertook the complete reconstruction of that road from that particular point, from kilometer 0 up to Ubowo, covering a distance of over 9 kilometers. That is basically an urban alignment, before continuing to Ofosu, which is the interstate alignment, if you like. But however, the state government, on its part, also carried out an improvement on sections of that alignment, particularly the urban alignment, as part of their drainage program of Benin City drainage program. They have had to add a parking lane and a walkway on that particular alignment, the urban alignment. That is collaborative governance. That is how it should be. Federal, state, and local government can truly collaborate so as to better deliver services to the people of our country. It's not limited to Edo State. If you go to Woody area of Kano, on our project from Kano to Meduguri, which we are dualizing a distance of 518 kilometers, the urban alignment, particularly the Woody area, have been completely transformed. We did that, and it brought a lot of succor to the people there who live there, who pay taxes to Kano State government. So we are in the business of doing that all over the country.
Which comes first? The country putting the citizen first, or the citizen putting the country first?
The country has always put the citizens first, right from independence.
So why do you reckon the citizens don't feel the way you do, the way you just mentioned? Why don't they feel this sense of patriotism, this sense of...
It is not every citizen. In the recent past, there have been an over-politicization of issues in the country, and that is not good enough. I'm one of those that feel really saddened by the turn of events in this country, because what I see is a willful destruction of our country. Rather than citizens put hands together to join government in helping to build a country, they are so eager to destroy it, just to disparage the government in power. It's not done. Anywhere in the world, it's not done. After a general election, everybody, contribute his or her quota alongside with the government in collaboration to help build a strong, united country.
What will government need to do to help citizens arrive at the point where you just talked about?
Well, even in the past, government have been there. In fact, some people give example of the good old days, and when you hear them talk of the good old days, they forget that the parameters have changed. For instance, Nigeria was touted as one of the richest countries in the world in times past. But again, if you look at those times past, what was the population of Nigeria? Just like in the road setup, people say, oh, in those days we used to have good roads. Now, no road, you just do a road today, and it goes by the next day. What is going on? People are not building good roads and all that. I mean, from my vantage position, I know that is not true. What has happened? Even as early as 1980 here, when President Shehu Shagari was in office, Nigeria already had close to 28,000 kilometers of federal highways. And you had only 150,000 vehicles plying on those roads. As of last year, or 2 years ago, all we had was less than 36,000 kilometers, about 35,000 kilometers. What is the difference between that and 28,000 kilometers? That's just about 7,000 kilometers. Now, how do you now juxtapose that with the over 10 million vehicles on the road as compared to 150,000 in 1980? So, additional pressures were bound to come on our road, given the fact that rail transportation was comatose in this country for 30 years. Everything was on the road. So, excessive axle loading was on the road, and the road had to give way. So these are some of the causative factors. But people don't look at these issues. They just say in the 80s, Nigeria was good, the roads were good and all that. But there are reasons for that. And people should look at those things. And again, in 1980, we were better off because with what we were able to produce, with the oil we were producing in the country, our per capita income was higher. Because what was the population? We were barely 60 million. But today, by country of about 170 million, whatever we sell, whatever price we sell our oil, when you put all together and divide by 170 million, the per capita income comes down. Compared with a country like Kuwait, that is less than 5 million people or thereabout. Whatever they say they divide by 5 million, their per capita is high. But ours is so low because of our huge population. And unfortunately, over the years, despite all we have tried to do, we still have a largely mono economy. It is only now that the economy is being diversified. The President Jonathan administration is focusing on agriculture, is focusing on industrialization as it were. Today, we assemble plant. We have assembly plants that are assembling vehicles in Nigeria. There are prospects of vehicles being manufactured here. I had the privilege of visiting Indosin plant in Onewi when I went there recently to flag off a road project. And these are encouraging development. Our narrative should be focused, on how to build our economy that it can better serve the needs of Nigerians, not to keep exacerbating that which divides us and try to bring the roof down. In that we won't make progress that way. I beg to say, we won't make progress that way. The only way we can make progress if we utterly come together and collaborate to help build our country. It's so important because nobody will do it for us. Not Britain, not the United States of America, and indeed not any other country in the world.
Honorable Minister, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. It has been a pleasure.
And we thank you for watching. Please join us again next time when View from the Top returns. But between now and then, let's continue this conversation online at channelstv.com. Do follow me on Twitter at ModeleSY and send me your thoughts on today's interview with the Works Minister. Thank you again and have a good day.